Give yourself a chance. You don't want to be bringing a knife to a gunfight. If you are serious about sports betting, you've got to stop making these mistakes. Today, I'm going to be breaking down the 12 biggest mistakes and what you should be doing instead. I'm Tony from Betting Analyst, a full-time professional gambler. Let's crack on. Let's kick off with the 4 character flaws, and the first of them is arrogance. Now, there is nothing worse than somebody who thinks they are better than they are. While confidence is good, being arrogant can be expensive. Thinking you are better than you are is how sports bettors stop learning. Truth be known, there is always someone sharper than yourself, and the thing is with professional gamblers, they're always humble. Now, second on my list is greed. And let me start by saying, greed destroys more betting accounts than bad picks ever will. While it's human nature to want more, professional betting is a process and it's not a lottery. Now, I could share a lot of stories on this one, but just a quickie. We used to know a stable insider that was getting us really top information. He was making money from betting himself and he was also getting paid by us. But this guy would always be broke because it was never enough. He would win 10,000 on the bets that he'd been provided, and then he would go and waste it on other bets, wanting more. He would want the 100,000. I'm afraid greed ruined him. If you don't have control, no edge is going to save you. And third on my list is chasing losses. This is non-negotiable. Chasing losses is addiction, not a strategy. The mindset of I need to win it back is a losing one. Whereas a professional's attitude is, there is always another day. Without strategy, systems, discipline, this game will kill you. And fourth is following the crowd, being part of the herd, being one of the sheep. We all know what happens to the sheep. They finish up on the bookmaker's dinner table. If you are after timing or steam chasing, you can only lose. Following tipsters on X, TV pundits or former jockeys that supposedly know everything about betting is a bad choice. At the end of the day, most of them don't understand the numbers. They do not understand the odds, and that's why you need to avoid them at all costs. If you're betting with a crowd, you are already behind. Just look at former footballers like Paul Merson, who are giving it out big time. They are known to be gambling addicts, but they're still online tipping because the bookmakers love them because they can sell you a bet. And just remember, 99% of sports bettors lose. And these people belong to that 99%. And number 5 is betting obvious picks and public teams. The thing is, they are always going to be overbet. And bookmakers know this. So what they do is they adapt early. So what you are getting is shorter than the odds that you should be off. Also, you should be looking into your own bias. You shouldn't be just betting teams that you follow, that you are a fan of. In betting, you have to sometimes swim against the tide, not with it. Otherwise, you're going to be getting no value and it's of no interest to you. Number 6 is thinking betting isn't all about the odds. That is a fundamental fail. If you're betting constantly something that has a 50% chance at odds of under 2, you will lose money. If you are betting at odds over 2, you will profit. It is simple as that. Betting is all about the odds, and that's the only thing that counts. Now, not all of you will be able to make your own odds, so this is where you can start using betting exchanges as benchmarks. You can start using sharp books, or you can simply subscribe to a betting software that does all the work for you. Getting those advantageous odds, that is key to profiting. You have simply got to think more like the bookmaker than the typical everyday 99% losing punter. Right, if you bet online, you have to check out bookiesbonuses.com. They've got a full, constantly updated list of every single UK licensed betting site, all in one place. And make sure you sign up for the newsletter on that page because they'll notify you the moment a brand new bookie gets added. It's free, it's quick, and honestly, it just saves you loads of time. Links in the description and pinned in the comments. Go have a look. Now, number 7 on my list is failing to line shop. Now, I think it's pretty obvious. Bookmakers are not your friend. They are there for one reason. They want your money. They will do everything to get it. You will soon find out they're not your friends when you start profiting. Your biggest advantage in sports betting is choice. And how do you go about that? You get more sports books. More sports books gives you more options. It gives you more betting odds to choose from. So you can go out there and find the highest odds possible. And I should also add that small edges start to add up. And that's why you should never be what I mentioned before, the greedy, the chasing, wanting more. This will work for you if you play the game properly. And number 8 is playing rip-off bets. Now I want you to look at the screen so I can guide you through this. If we take this example with Bet365, you can see the same bet being offered in 3 different formats. EH, the European handicap, DC, the double chance, and AH, the Asian handicap. You can see there Bet365 are offering odds of 2, but on the Asian handicap you can get 2.07. If you was putting 100 on each of those, you would be getting 7 more back if you actually bet the Asian handicap and it's won. That's 3.5% extra for exactly the same bet. If you look at our example number 2, what you can see here is odds of 1.7, 4 and 4.2. Now, just by looking at that, you should see that these odds are badly wrong on the actual double chance and the European handicap. They're offering 1.90. If both odds were 4, then it would be a 2 chance, wouldn't it? You'd put 100 on each and you would get 400 back, but it would cost you 200, so odds of 2. In this instance, they're offering you 1.90, and when the second odds are 4.2. If you do it like this, you take the 4, it's 25%, you take the 4.2, 23.8%, and then if you divide 100 by 48.8, you see the real odds. Just imagine what a rip-off that is. You are getting odds of 1.90 or being offered that, just because you're not clever enough to play the bet individually. Now, if you wanted to be really efficient, you could actually bet one odds, the draw at one sportsbook, and the actual away win at another sportsbook, where the 2 best odds were on offer. And by doing this, you would then again create even higher odds. Number 9 on my list is cashing out. Now, this is a pet peeve, and I'm sure it's going to get a lot of criticism in the comments, because that's what I always see whenever I mention the word cash out. At the end of the day, what you're doing if you're cashing out is giving value back. So the question I would then pose is, why did you even make the bet if you wasn't willing to ride it through? And if you do want to get out at a later stage, then you just need to structure it a little bit different. Either A, you can go and sell off on a betting exchange. B, what you could do is bet the opposite team, the opposite player at higher odds somewhere else. Or an even better alternative would be actually to place a system bet, so you would have already won if you got to that stage, and you was getting down to that last pick. You would have already been in profit. And number 10 is no staking plan. Now, professional gamblers, they know how to bet proportionally. They know when to put a bigger money down and when to maybe half their stake. You've really got to learn that flat staking is not a particular good idea. You don't want to risk the same amount on every bet. You've got to take things into consideration, and they're not what you expect. It's not all about the odds. It's about the advantage that you've actually got. If you've got a bigger perceived advantage, you want to get more down on it, irrelevant of the odds. If you've got a lower advantage, then maybe you want to half your stake. You need a plan. It's not a one size fits all. And number 11 is not keeping records is a mistake. You need to keep performance data. I would suggest breaking it down into sports, league and bet types. Keep a record of all the bets that you're making, and then you can find out where your strength and your weakness is. You've got to remember though, sample size matters, so you shouldn't start judging it too early. And you should also take into consideration things change. I've had seasons when I've done fantastic in one league and then performed badly in that league the next season. It happens. Things change. You're not always going to finish on expectancy. And finally is not staying informed. Odds move as information becomes apparent, and you want that information before it gets to the market. Watch out for stuff like injuries. What about the weather? That can have a big impact on the actual totals that are expected in games. Keep up to speed with the social media. Our teams are travelling to venues. Also, the scheduling could change. You've just got to keep up to speed with everything that you possibly can. You've got to give yourself every advantage possible. You don't want to donate your money to the sports books. That's the key element. So that's a wrap. I do hope you get something from this video in particular, because it is important if you actually have aspirations to be a profitable gambler, right? A profitable sports bettor. Work on getting these things right, you know, the patience, the structure, making sure that you've got that emotional control. If you've got all that in grip, then I'm sure your future can be a good one and that you can profit just like I do and just like many others do. So that's your lot. You're through to boot camp. We'll see you in the next one soon. Take care for now. Bye bye.